Hills Precious Metals Exchange is a client-focused firm devoted to assisting our clients with precious metals. Our clients range from first-time to serious coin collectors and investors seeking to add precious metals to their investment portfolios. We are not interested in volatile investments, leveraged products, and intangible assets. With rising inflation and the devaluing of the dollar hurting middle-class families, investing in gold and silver ensures protection for your hard-earned money. Save the value of your money today by investing in gold and silver at Beverly Hills Precious Metals.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is an exciting podcast because Andrew and I have been on here speaking over and over and over about something about to happen in the precious metals market. Those of you who have been watching silver and gold, Friday silver jumped $2 in a single day. Friday's date was the 17th of May. So now the point I'm trying to make is that $2 move that we just witnessed on Friday, it did something historic. It blew through $30. That's critical because that was a very powerful landmark. We've talked before on our podcast, $26 to $27. That was like for 2-3 years, the roof. Finally, when it started breaking 27, so the next roof is 30. You take out 30, it's going to go to $32, and then it's game on. It's going to get crazy. So, Andrew, welcome to the show. What have you been seeing on your end? And I'm really looking forward to talking to you.
Oh, it's been so much fun. So, all weekend long, people texting, emailing, filling out web submissions saying, how can I obtain more silver? Or I've never bought silver before. How much higher can it go? Is it too late? And it's like, I let these people know that we've seen this before. We can kind of figure out what's going to happen moving forward based on what's happened in the past as far as chart formations. And it's looking like it's just going to go vertical, continue to go vertical.
Yes, that's the point I'm trying to make. When silver breaks, there's these resistance points. And a very powerful one that we have been laughing about for 2 years already was $27, okay? $26, $27. Man, every time it touched it, the commercial shorts would come in and just smash it down every time. And it would always come back, had a floor at around $20. And it's done this for years already. And so now we're at a very incredible time point because it finally got through 27. And then this Friday, it blew through 30. And now it's really getting exciting because I'm going to pull up a chart in a minute, but I'll show you historically, there's that $27 mark to 30. Once it blasts through that, and it already has now, there's little to zero overhead resistance. And I'll show you in the charting, but between 30-ish dollars all the way to 50. 50 becomes like a magnet to the price, if that makes sense. So 50 is sucking up silver for it to shoot up there. But this is a now historic time point. So I truly believe, and maybe get your thoughts on this, Andrew, but I don't think 50 is going to hold or stop silver this time. I think it's because what I've been saying is, Mike, I got a target still at $68-ish to $70 as a first target. So that would mean specifically that it's going to blow through and it's going to go higher, take out $50. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are exactly that. And I've been talking about it for more than 10 years. And here's what I base it on. Back in 1980, silver did hit $50 an ounce for the first and only time. And that was in a market that was manipulated by the Hunt brothers, who at the time were trying to corner the market. It did hit 50. Then again, in 2011, silver broke $49 an ounce. And that's when JP Morgan Chase decided to sell loads and loads of physical silver. Silver came crashing down over the next few months. And then it even got to as low as $11 or $12 an ounce. So here we go. Our third chance to take that march toward 50. I do believe that this time it will break right through 50. Love your comment about, or your description about 50 pulling the price of silver up like a magnet from where it's at now. We saw that happen in 2011. Once silver broke through 30 in 2011, it was just a race on up to $50. It's like inside the park home run in baseball, and he just turned the corner on third base and he's heading home. Well, right now the price of silver is heading home, and it's just the beginning.
I fully agree. And so when I look at the charts, the patterns, what I'm seeing is just incredible price movement that's about to manifest here. I want to pull this chart up here. So let me let me show the viewers this chart here so you can kind of get a better view. Okay, so if you can see this chart right here, this is wild because what you were talking about, the Hunt brothers. So let's look at the chart here long term. So this is the Hunt brothers top here at $49. This goes back all the way to 1979 December, so 1980, so the end of 1979. So that's the top. We've got another top that formed right here, and this was exciting because at this top here, I believe, I don't know if I'm the only, but I believe I potentially am the only person in the world that called the exact top here in 2011. And again, I don't really care for the notoriety for it, but what I'm trying to illustrate is it was a Daniel calculation of 1,260 days precisely from this prior top. So it was calculated that exact top. What I want to show further is when we drag this out here like this, you can get a better visual. So what I'm trying to show you here, back when it topped in the year 2011, it came down, it bounced off $27, bounced again, came up, bounced again, came up, and finally it broke through $27. And this was in 2013. This is incredible. You know, we're talking 9 years. It touched it over here in 2020, but then it came back down. So basically $27. This is why I've been joking about $27 with Andrew, because for 9 years, they have not let silver breach $27. It touched it here, briefly jumped up to like 28, 29, and they slammed it back down. And they have done everything that they possibly can to keep silver under $27. And look at this. This is these candlesticks are monthly candlesticks. So each little blip you see here is an entire month. So this is the month of May. So we're looking at the month of May right here. And wow, like, is this wild? Because right now the price is, this is May 20th. It's presently trading at $32.20 as we're speaking. But this $32 zone, if you want to push it up to as high as $35, that's it. After $35, okay, then silver becomes a magnet to the next top, which is all the way up here, all the way at $49. So there's nothing stopping it, nothing but air, all the way from $35 to $49. And as you saw right here, it bounced, it hit it 3 times, then finally collapsed. The exact opposite is going to happen this time around. What's going to happen is this price is going to explode right up to $50. And I don't even think 50 is going to stop it, because I've been constantly saying the chart patterns and the calculations that I'm looking at is literally around $68 to $70. And again, when this thing happens, I'm just saying it's imminently. However, I would say the probability of $68 could actually be still this month of May. That is what is possible. And the last time we were speaking, Andrew, too, we were talking about that the squeeze that was going on with GameStop. And what did we say? We said that similar pattern happened in 2011. And the last time that happened, silver, right near the tail end of it, started to jump vertical. Andrew, that's exactly what we said a week ago. And that's exactly what happened starting last Friday. What are your thoughts on silver breaching $50? What are your thoughts on all of this panning out very soon here in the next few weeks as we watch all these things going off in the Middle East?
Today was very important because if silver had dropped $2 an ounce and given back every penny that it gained on Friday, then I would have just said, oh, here we go again. Some big bank just unloaded a bunch of silver, and they're not going to let it go any higher. But then today was very interesting. In fact, it goes back to last night. I was very excited. I was texting with you a little bit, and very excited at where the market was at. Silver was up about 50 cents. And then early this morning, not only did it give all of that back, it was down like 33 cents. And I go, oh, here we go. And then silver reversed. And I've only seen silver resilient like this back in 2011. Like, that's the only reference of anything that I've seen where no matter what happens, silver just continues to go up. So silver passed the test today. And I think that it's just going to keep shooting up onwards toward 40. What surprises me, though, is that the premiums are not higher right now. So you can still buy silver very, very cheap, much cheaper than you could have back in, say, the last quarter of 2022 when the premiums were at an all-time high. So it's a good time. People should be acting now.
What we've said before is we're living in not political times, biblical times. Okay. In biblical times, you get price multiplication. So I know, many people I pray have listened to what Andrew and I have been doing. I pray that they've actually followed along and understood that the financial system that we live in is a fraud. I explain that so many times, and I try to be so clear about that because you cannot make money out of thin air, but they do.
The government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds. There is no question that the government prints money, and then it uses that money to I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it.
You cannot make money out of thin air, but they do. Okay. And the simple analogy, and for those who are listening to this podcast for a first time, because, they're finally starting to listen and pay attention to precious metals. Understand, I love to use that example about Gilligan's Island, the song, The Millionaire and His Wife. Okay. The millionaire and his wife is every second person who owns a house here in California nowadays because they've made so much money. In the 70s, there was not barely $1 billion. Okay. 1,000 million is a billion. 1,000 billion is a trillion. 1,000 trillion is a quadrillion. If you had to count to 1 million, it would take you 12 days not sleeping. If you count to a quadrillion, that is 31 million years not sleeping. And you wonder why a home went from 30,000 to $1 million. The house is 50 years old. It should be half price, but instead it's $1 million. Why? Because the money supply. Okay. They click buttons. They make money out of thin air. The only honest money that has been money for 5,000 years is what, Andrew?
It's gold and silver. That's it. That's the world's currency and always has been.
That's right. And you've done the research as much as I have, because if you study history, you'll get an understanding of what could and will likely happen in the future. If you don't study history, you're going to be subject to experiencing it all over again. Okay. And in 1929, there was a thing called the Great Crash. Okay. It was horrific and horrible. And there was lines and bank runs, and it was a horrible time in the world. At the same time, too, it was an incredible time in the world for those who knew it was coming. I'm going to repeat that. 1929 was, people consider it, a horrific time in the world. There was also the other side of the equation. It was one of the best opportunities in the world to set yourself up for the future. Why? Because some people knew it was coming. They liquidated their positions, and after the crash, they bought everything up on the cheap. Okay. What we've been trying to, I don't want to give anybody financial advice. I'm just telling you the financial system is a fraud. I'm telling you, silver is the biggest deal you've ever seen in your life. Even at $32, $35, $40 right now, it's a fire sale, because just to mine it and get it out of the ground, it costs about $25. When you look at the ratio, gold to silver, right now the ratio, it was 80 for so long, 90. Now it's maybe in the 70s. Okay. That's still awesome, because if you walked over to Andrew's store, or if you order from Andrew, you say, hey, I want to flip this ounce of gold into silver, roughly you'd get maybe 60 to 70 ounces of silver, if I'm correct, right, Andrew? But on the other side of it, the in-ground ratio, when you mine the stuff, it's roughly 10 to 1. In other words, silver is manipulated. They have created so many paper derivative contracts to slam down the price of silver. The ratio is at a still historic 70-ish to 1. It's supposed to be what? Roughly 10 to 1. So for all the mining people who mine gold and silver, when you get an ounce of gold out of the ground, you get roughly 10 ounces of silver. So you have to understand 70 to 1 right now is still a fire sale for silver.
Yeah, I just did the exact math. So as of today, this exact moment, it's 75 to 1. So the ratio has been anywhere from 10 to 1 or 16 to 1 over time. And even as we go into a potentially a gold-backed central bank digital currency, if that really is gold-backed, and like we always say, what's good for gold is great for silver, then that will close that gap of where that ratio is, and the silver will go vertical, and it's going to be tough to get, and the premiums are going to be super high, and people are going to be willing to pay it because it will still be undervalued at that point. So it's we're really in a sweet spot right now that we can actually get this stuff. The wait times are not there, and quick delivery, and I just still feel like silver is such a bargain.
Go back to our prior podcast. What do we say? The first thing that takes off is Bitcoin. We saw Bitcoin double in price from 30 to 60,000. We saw it going from 14,000 just a couple of years ago. Bitcoin's leading. What was the second thing we said? Gold goes second. So if this is like a racetrack, okay, when the gates open, Bitcoin takes off. Second thing that follows is gold. And then the last thing out of the gates is what, Andrew? What have we said? What's the last thing out of the gates?
Silver.
And what just happened? Friday proved us correct again. Silver is the last thing out of the gates. And then on Friday, silver went up like 6 or 7% in a single day, while gold only did 2%. And on Friday. Okay. So you see what silver's doing, it's percentage-wise outperforming gold. People can go look at the price of gold today and silver, and you'll notice silver again is outperforming on a percentage basis the movement of gold. So as we're speaking right now, I can pull up a chart real quick. Gold is up 60.65%, while silver is up 1.6%. So in other words, silver is almost double to triple today. Silver is doubling to tripling the performance of gold today. And so that's how the ratio gets narrowed. Now we're off to the races because all three horses are riding. Bitcoin, gold, and silver are all riding. The gates are open. They're all running. And what's going to happen is the first horse to get to the very top, in other words, to finish this race to the very top, and the numbers are staggering that are coming. Okay. Like we're talking crazy numbers that I don't even want to quote because it's going to freak people out. The numbers are wild, but silver is going to make it to the top first. So by the time it gets to the top, it'll probably get 16 to 1. It could be 10 to 1. It could go to 1 to 1. I don't know, but I do know that it's been suppressed for generations. They have used derivative contracts to manipulate the price of silver for generations. So we're going to see generational price movement, biblical price movement, and the race is on. Silver just broke out and it's taken off right now. And so we're going to see incredible multiplication of prices right now. Comment, Andrew, if you can, on that ratio, and comment on the percentage moves that you've seen on gold relative to silver right now.
It's a conversation I have it several times a day. So I'll get calls from people that are already clients that'll say, wow, gold is doing so good. I feel like I should trade some of my silver for gold. And I tell them, I go, look, there are times when that might be a good move, but right now is not it. If we go and do a little bit of math, I can show you that silver actually is outperforming gold. And you've just explained it so well. But I also researched a little bit. So in March of 2020, silver actually bottomed out at just under $12 an ounce. So just under $12 an ounce, and it's currently sitting at like $32 and change. So it's up like $20 an ounce since then. Gold 5 years ago was approximately half of what it is now. So gold has doubled in the last 5 years. Both of those are pretty amazing statistics, but silver has actually, going from the low, is closer to tripling where gold is doubling. And this is only the beginning, because as it gets higher, it really starts to break away. So really, silver is where it's at. But I just want to urge for people out there that if you are investing in silver, that this is a long-term hold. Okay, so you don't want to invest in physical silver today with the idea that you want to unload it and sell it a month later or 2 months later. I would put it at a minimum 2 to 5 years. Give it time to run, because it will take time. I think if people get in now, it probably will happen quickly for them, but you want to hold it for a long time and let it do everything that it can.
When I buy precious metals, I'm not buying it as an investment. Honestly, I'm not buying silver and gold. This is my opinion. I'm not buying gold as an investment. I'm not buying silver particularly as an investment at all. Why? I'm buying silver and gold, but mostly silver, particularly why? As an insurance policy against this fraudulent money system. You can't make money out of thin air forever and think that this game's going to continue forever. You know, when you go play Monopoly, this is actually very cool. When you go play Monopoly, go look at the rules. At some point, the money runs out, and then you start writing IOUs. This is in the game of Monopoly, okay? Monopoly is no different than the financial system that we're living in today. It's all just paper. Now they're simply cutting IOUs to everybody, and they click a few buttons and create some more money to fulfill those IOUs. This is the world we're living in. And so I buy precious metals because I'm sick of watching this money printing. And history tells me that every single money instrument ever, 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 ever created by mankind, every one of them eventually goes to zero. Just because you've been born into a system called the Federal Reserve System, just because you were accustomed to that from the day you were born, just because your parents have been using it, that doesn't mean that that's the currency for the next 100 years. It means that everything has a lifespan, and at some point, a lifespan, and history's proven every single currency eventually goes to zero. So will, mark my words, so will the Federal Reserve note. Not federal, no reserves, and note means it's paper. I'm telling you, I buy precious metals simply because I know that they're creating money out of thin air. So I literally take this money that's created out of thin air, and I choose personally, and so does Andrew, to hold precious metals because we know it's the real deal. It's number one, it's Haggai 2, verse 8. This is the most important thing. It's the silver. God states, the silver and the gold are mine, saith the Lord. I'm like, if you want to consider it like Vegas, I'm putting it all on red. And I know red is held by God. So I'm putting my money on God. And that's what I'm doing, period. And then we talk about ratios again. I want people to understand, don't be freaked out about the price right now of silver if you don't own any. And why I'm saying that is because Andrew described it perfectly. There's two things on buying silver. One is the price of it, and the second thing is the spread. Okay. So right now, silver might be priced currently, I think it's like 32, just over $32. Okay. But the spread is still small. So there's only a little bit you're paying over the spread to get it in your hands. Okay. Now we've seen time points where the silver might be, whatever the price is, the spread could be double. So even if the price is $20 on silver, the spread could be double. So that will put it at a price of $40 just to get $40 to get it into your hand. So you're still at a blessing point here because the spreads are low, as Andrew stated. I didn't know that. So nice to know the spreads are still holding low because that won't last much longer because you're going to see silver blow up in price further. And the higher it goes, then the spreads really start to magnify. And that's going to get a whole new ball game. And let's talk about ratios again. On the crash of 2020, go check. This is crazy because I actually put an order in, a pretty sizable order when this happened because it freaked me out that we saw the ratio. Remember, the ratio in ground's roughly 10 to 1, maybe 16, whatever you want to call it. It went to 130 to 1, Andrew. It went 130 to 1. So you could sell an ounce of gold on the crash of 2020. And you'd get 130 ounces of silver. So you see what's happening. And then it went to 90, and then it went to 80, and now it's at 75. Like Andrew just checked, he said it's 75. It's going to go to 60. Silver is going to keep accelerating vertical to keep narrowing the gap. If you can expand upon that even further, Andrew.
Silver is growing in value at a faster rate than gold is. That's a fact. So as it does that, that ratio is gonna change much more favorable for silver. So here would be an example. Let's say that silver hit $40 an ounce, which could really, the way silver's moving, it could happen possibly this month. Okay, I'm not saying that it will. Don't go out and mortgage your home because Andrew said that it's going to 40, but it's conceivable that it could. So if silver was $40 an ounce, and let's say that gold runs to $25.50, so take 2,550, divide it by 40, then you would have silver at 63.75. So let's round that up, and the ratio would then be 1 ounce of gold equals 64 ounces of silver. That's down from 75, which is what it is now. And as it continues, as gold and silver continue to move upward, with silver gaining more percentage-wise, like Bo said, that's just going to keep shrinking. And there are a lot of people that watch for that. That's how they know that we're actually heading in the right scenario for us. But we've been talking about this for so long. It's just really great to see it actually happening.
I want to finish on this, and then Andrew can maybe close up here, but I wanted to show the viewers this one chart right here. I have shown this chart on, I think in April, possibly in March, And people thought I was crazy. They're like, oh, silver's never going to take out 30. It's never going to go further. I wanted to show the importance of this chart here. When you look at this, I've stated before, and I'm going to state it again. This cycle already manifested in the commodity called cocoa. Okay. You saw cocoa here at $3,200. This is the resistance at $3,200. If you drop two zeros, I made this chart. It looks like it was back in April. And at that time, silver was trading at $28. I said, when silver takes out, because he dropped to two zeros relative to cocoa, when silver takes out $32, we're very quickly going to see silver spike to at least $68. Why? Because this chart, which is 45 years accurate relative when you compare the pattern to that of cocoa, says that we're looking at about $68 to silver. A price of $68 on silver. And soon, when it breaks $32, I just want to repeat that statement. When it breaks $32, the initial target is roughly $68. And shortly thereafter, whether it's June, whether it's July, we're looking at 3 digits on silver, possibly in the vicinity of about $130 to $140. Why that's critically an important number is this, and I'll leave it at this, and Andrew can close up. Biblically, there's a thing called damages. They have committed fraudulent transactions here for generations by creating money out of thin air and trying to enslave humanity. And the Bible is very clear. Damages are sevenfold. The base on silver, the bottom floor, the floor on silver is roughly $20. Been like that for years now. So if you do 20 times 7, that's $140. So very soon target within I would say by summertime, maybe even June, okay, we are looking at $130 to $140 on silver. So as whatever the price is still today, it's still a blessing because it's only gone up a little bit so far relative to what's coming, and the spreads are still low as well too. So in closing, if people want to reach out to you, Andrew, sounds like you still got some inventory, you can get some stuff. So how long will it take if they send you a wire, and how long do, say, 401ks and IRAs take in relative to what's the process?
Yeah, so if you're doing a cash purchase, which is if you pay by check or wire transfer, those are typically going to ship within about 2 to 3 days at the most. Sometimes they ship the same day, sometimes they ship the following day. So that's like the optimal shipping time right there. So that will change as we start to see silver blast off even more. Now, within the IRAs, we're able to help people roll over their IRAs and 401ks into precious metals IRAs that hold real gold and silver that's in a lockbox at a depository in Delaware, and it's fully insured. We're able to get people's accounts set up many times in 7 to 10 days. Reach out to us at bh-pm.com. Again, that's bh-pm.com. Say that Gold 2020 forecast or that Bo sent you. And in the notes section, just put in some notes there. One of the things that I'm seeing a lot of are how can I roll over a 401k into a precious metals IRA and have it be a non-taxable event? You can do that. And if you put that in there, I'll get you over to our IRA department. We can have the account open on the first day. It's just a matter of being able to transfer the funds from where they're at now to the custodian that we use. So definitely reach out, fill out that online form. In the notes section, put in whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So our response time is within 24 hours. If you have not connected with somebody here at our company and have tried to do so at least once, then fill out the form again and say second request, and we'll put you at the top of the list.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Andrew. I know you need to run. God bless everybody for listening. These are exciting times. Not only that, these are biblical times. Big things are about to manifest on this world. We literally just had something critically wild go down. What did we talk about? We said Pentecost weekend. Expect something big to start to manifest. Are you kidding me? Sunday night.
And breaking news.
Hello and welcome to our viewers here in the United States and all around the world. I'm Paula Newton, and we are following breaking news out of Iran, where state media has now confirmed the death of President Ibrahim Raisi and the country's foreign minister after a deadly helicopter crash.
So on Sunday night, the leader of Iran helicopter goes down. Okay, so we don't know all the details. I'm just telling you, this is Iran we're talking about. Iran. who's in conflict with Israel. The leader goes down on Pentecost weekend. These are wild things that are about to manifest. So May is going to be historic. And I truly believe we're just touching the tip of what's about to happen here. So thank you, Andrew, for being here. God bless, and we will talk to you again soon. No currencies ever that existed ever lasted forever. So when this US dollar event happens, gold and silver go vertical. They will explode vertical because anytime a currency falls, it always de factos back to gold and silver, the money that's been money for 5,000 years. And that is what's going to happen to the United States dollar. It will de facto back to a currency, to a gold standard. Because as long as the world reserve currency remains the world reserve currency, Trump's never coming back to office.
We're going down. It'll be the biggest crash in world history. This is toilet paper. Back in 1972, I bought my first gold coin. I paid $50 for this. 50 of these for one of these. Today, it takes 2,200 of these to buy one of these. Did anything change?
You need to ignore everything you've been taught since you were a kid. The almighty dollar is not almighty.
It's going down in value, but people will actually go for this. They'll spend their whole lives working for this. That's how brainwashed they are, because our school systems haven't taught us anything about money. They don't trust gold, they don't trust silver. I can't believe it. Unemployment is going to go through the roof. And what is everybody, they're counting on this year. So when I go on programs, I always hold this up here. I go, this is silver, this is real, this is gold, this is paper. Which is the better investment today? Would you rather save this? Would you rather save gold? Or would you rather save silver? 95% of the people choose paper. It's going down in value, but people will actually go for this. They'll spend their whole lives working for this. And as you know, the pensions, as who was your prime minister for 30 days?
Oh yeah, what's her name? Liz Truss, yeah.
Your pensions are gone.
Yeah.
So that's my generation. In America, I wrote a book called Who Stole My Pension? Wall Street sucked the money out of our pensions. So my generation, the boomers, what are they going to go for? And today, America is the #1 debtor nation in the world. It's going to take $8 trillion to pay off our debt. We only collect $7.8 trillion in taxes. America's bankrupt. So I'm saying here, Brian, as you have been friends for years, we're the end of the American empire. And we're here at the British Empire. And the empire changed from England to America. America was founded, as you know, in a tax revolt. It was called the Boston Tea Party. Get you British off our backs, we don't want to pay taxes. So the American empire is dying. Is China next? And China's in bigger trouble as we are. Their real estate market's plummeting, the unemployment's high, the youth can't find jobs. And our money is going bad. So today I ask your viewers, this is called paper, this is called silver, this is called gold. Which one would you want to save? Most people choose this. That's how brainwashed they are, because our school systems haven't taught us anything about money. They don't trust gold, they don't trust silver, but they trust a piece of toilet paper. I can't believe it. So our biggest problem is a lack of education.
And so we are stepping into a time point. I don't care what anybody says, it's going to happen. This event is going to happen. It's going to happen in the year 2024. The dollar will be dethroned as the world reserve currency, period.